All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Readers. I feel like this might be a rough video here, but again, I think it's important to hear as close to unbiased information as you can in a sector that's really filled with rah fanboy and fangirl videos that just keep saying the sky is blue when clearly things are bad right now. You know what I mean? I haven't used the phrase black hole vortex of death in a good while. We are going down the black hole vortex that is all-time lows. Once you look, I'm here on my videos doing my best to not make myself seem that smart or make these things seem as hard as they are, right? Like green is good, red is bad. It's like a traffic light, right? Red death lines as opposed to what's a good one? High tide has some, as opposed to breaking some good golden lines, right? Like I'm not here pretending that this stuff's hard, right? When you lose a death line, my head always says you're about to lose 20%. And then, unless some sort of miracle happens, you're about to lose another 20%. And that's just going to keep on repeating and repeating and repeating. And that is what the black hole vortex of death does, you know? And clearly, Tilray is here right now. MSOS is battling the line, and I'm getting a little bit on the worried side right here. CGC isn't there yet. It's not there yet, but we went from pretty much only on this line to now we're here, and all of a sudden a quick red, green can make that a scary red down to its death line, right? So I'll obviously go through the rest of the tickers like I normally do, but the concern is there, okay? I 100% got a little hyped on that Chris Christie thing. I'm not pretending that didn't happen. You know I'm always as loud as I can be about my mistakes. There was a user comment that a viewer, sorry, not user. There was a viewer comment that actually said Chris Christie isn't as close to, he's not as homey with Trump as I thought. Again, I'm not here pretending to know politics. I'm just giving you my thoughts and opinions, right? So maybe that was actually very true, but end of the day, you know what I say, right? Bad things happen under the 8 and the 20, let alone lose all 5 and die. And I mean, that's there's a lot of the things that keep echoing happening here, right? So I'll give you more of my thoughts and opinions shortly, but before we do go any further and I give you more of my thoughts and opinions, what are we going to do? Same thing we always do, right? We'll take a look at the daily and the weekly to see how these things are setting up short term. We have our 5 moving averages. There are horizontal support and resistance lines that I do draw manually myself. And then when we are done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Hey, really quickly, if you can, please subscribe to this channel. Share this video online with your friends. Comment good or bad if you disagree. Look, anything you can do helps so much with these YouTube algorithms. But for real, just being here, giving me your time, oh, I'm so grateful for it, all right? So I think this is kind of going to be an in general video. Maybe some of the smaller stocks that I don't want to say smaller, that's a little rude, but maybe some of the other stocks in this sector will be a little bit better, and I'll give some focus. But I feel like the general theme right now is the Florida no vote has sent a really uncomfortable ripple, okay, where most stocks gapped up and have continued to run after this election, after the November 5th election and results. This gap down and has continued the downtrend, right? And when I say this, I really do mean most of the sector. And again, we'll go through the tickers, right? But again, to me, my focus was DXYZ. You can see it gapped up and it just continued going. Tesla was another one. There were things that did very well and continued. Even DJT in a little bit of a way was just this like, not, you know, I don't know why I went to this one. I froze myself right there, right? But the moral was there was a clear distinction. Tilray. There was a clear distinction of winners and losers on the election. It was basically a gap up or a gap down, and it has continued till today. All right. Look, is there, and I know in the Discord, I know for sure in the Discord, Texas. we talked about Texas seems big. All right, this was back in the day. This was just after the election, and hey, I agree with this. I know Florida wasn't the only thing that was on the ballot, but hey, it's one of those things where all the eyes were there, and I think that's the ripple that we're seeing. And just again, I like to show it. Dow Jones has been doing well. Dow Jones did decide to gap up and keep going. Obviously, this isn't holding as well, but I do like what Walmart's earnings did today. I think Walmart doing well should help the Dow Jones. Obviously, Nvidia tomorrow is going to matter a bit, but and I say a bit more because this is Dow Jones. Obviously, it's going to matter a lot on NASDAQ, right? But hey, even the Dow Jones gapped up, right? So to see Tilray and the rest kind of not, that was a little bit disheartening, right? Again, we see it pretty loud on MSOS because obviously this is a lot closer to the Florida vote, right? Like this is actually in the U.S. and that would have been another state that these multi-state operators could have destroyed. And destroy means good, right? It means eat the market share. It means gain those dollars. It means it taking advantage of and destroying that new Florida market. It's a good destroy, not negative connotations. I promise you. All right, but yeah, the gap down obviously happens right there, and again, CGC same gap down, right? Again, fourth. This one was a day after. Well, I guess yeah. We voted on the 5th. The results came, and that's why it was the 6th, right? Was it actually a day after? Yeah, it was. It was actually on the 6th. Sorry, I just realized that, right? But again, these are all just the kind of general thoughts, and again, you can see the gap down and continuation. Where did HITI go? I think I saw it stay over the. Yeah, this one looks a little bit more like the Dow Jones. This one's an interesting outlier. What about SNDL? Ah, yeah, I see the same. Okay, it's holding the lines a little bit better and stuff, but yeah, definitely same little. I guess high tide I would say is maybe the one that's standing out of the bunch that I normally cover. But yeah, the gap down I wanted to talk about, losing the all-time low line is kind of the next thing, right? So with Tilray specifically, we've talked about the strength of this 162 line, right? I'm zooming back basically to here. I think this is the view all the way to 2023, right? This is basically the summer of 2023. We bounce, we bounce, we bounce, we bounce, we bounce, we bounce. Oh man, the struggle is getting worse, right? Like all those times we were at least able to stay above. We're now back down here. We were down here and yeah, it couldn't hold the death line, right? And I'm not, and last thing I want to show. Oh no, I really don't have to. That's actually pretty much it. From there, I started the video with it. I'm going to say it again, right? When you lose a death line, in my opinion, you're going to lose that 20% and it's just going to continue to ripple until a big thing happens. I still firmly believe that Trump is pro weed. I really do. Okay. I don't think this gap down was because Trump won and Kamala lost. I sincerely believe this was Florida only. I don't know how soon Trump will do something. And hey, it doesn't have to be him, right? Someone on his cabinet, and all he has to do is sign it and approve, right? But we need someone to do something. And I think at this junction, nothing's going to happen till January, right? Biden is not going to legalize anything anytime soon. He is not going to do any banking things or anything like that. Let's just be honest, right? There's pretty much no reason for him to do that, right? So maybe Trump will do it soon. Maybe he'll do it a little bit later. I think he's going to do something. Obviously, that's just my educated opinion and no facts behind that, right? But I do think he is still good for the sector. I also thought Kamala would have been good for the sector. I pretty much would have echoed this exact same thing, right? So we just gotta wait for him or someone on his cabinet to do something, and that's probably gonna come, maybe in the middle of the first year, maybe by the second year. Because, hey, remember, those first 2 years, he has the House and the Senate, right? So he has a little more ability to do things. For all we know, the next election, it's going to stay exactly the same and he's going to maintain the same power for all 4 years. But there is the possibility he doesn't after years 3 and 4. So, hey, I could see it just happening in those first 2 years, all right? So, I think that was a good amount of non-technical thoughts right there. I'll chapter up right here at 9:45. So there's not a lot of educated things I can really say here. All right. Let's just go to the weekly. I think it'll be the easier. There are no lines I can draw under that line right there. All I'm seeing are red candles, right? Red candles. I guess I would draw this, right? But I imagine that this 20 moving average is going to keep coming down pretty quickly. And I imagine that this 20 moving average is probably going to get there before we get back. So I'm not going to draw that. And at this point, what I expect, and it's basically what Tilray has done for most of its life. What I now expect is we're just going to live under the 8 and the 20. Live under the 8 and 20. Maybe occasionally we'll get over them, but we're just going to live under the 8 and the 20. Maybe occasionally, right? Like, I very, very much expected so much more from 2024. I think we saw some glimpses of it, right? We did. I mean, it wasn't a horrible year. And hey, truth be told, I think this all-time low drop should have happened right here if there wasn't a 2024 election hype. But oh man, I'm so sad that come election, this thing didn't gap up. And hey, it is what it is. And you know, I can only say until you probably really, dude, I wouldn't touch this until here. I'm willing to lower my line. I would not touch Tilray until it broke 180, 190, basically. Maybe there's going to be some interesting swings between these three lines, but yeah, I mean, moving averages are going to start exponentially coming down, and all time low black hole vortex just kind of is what it is to me. You know what I mean? So, I think we've already lost the first 20%, right? 15 cents and then another 7. We've lost, we're almost there. We're basically at 20 cents right now, right? This is the first 20% loss. Maybe we'll come back up to the 8 moving average, right? Because you go away from it, you come to it, you go away from it, you go away from it, you kind of come to it, you go away from it. Maybe we make our way back up to like 140. Maybe it'll end up being closer to here as this thing keeps coming down. Maybe we'll come to like 136. There's not a lot right there. But yeah, I think there's a shot that it goes back up. But at this point, I'm ready for the next 20% to get lost. And then the next 20% after that. And I think, roughly speaking, until January, new presidency, we see where it is on the ballot and so forth, right? So we'll come to CGC next. So my next thought basically is how much longer can we hold $3.75 before we drop to $2.82? Truth be told, I think at this point I'm just kind of expecting it to drop to 280 given what we see with Tilray, given what we saw with MSOS. I think most of the sector is unfortunately going to be heading down. And again, look, I might be very, very wrong, right? I'm just giving my thoughts. I find it hard to believe anything's going to happen between now and January. I think we need a new president in there. I think we need to see where this sector is on his priority list and then attack accordingly, right? But maybe we'll get a little bit of support around here, around 340, 330, 350, something like that. Really, again, I just feel like this thing's ready to lose one more dollar and go from 380 to 280, right? I see that the RSI has a little bit of green over red for sure. I see that this thing is at 30, and generally around 30 you should be able to go back up. I actually do see that like this thing knows how to live in the 45s, and hey, maybe we can go from 34 to 45, right? So maybe this thing can break the 8 moving average, and maybe it can make a little bit of a move to 420, no pun intended, just where the candle happens to lie, like maybe the bottom of this thing right there, right? Um, Otherwise, like I said, I kind of have to follow the sector. And again, I call Tilray the sector leader. I had a good, the only reason that I knew that this was going on was someone actually asked me in a different room that I am in. And yeah, I had absolutely no idea that this thing was down here until I saw this. But yeah, at this point, oh no, where am I supposed to go? Yeah, right here. At this point, Tilray I think is the sector leader, and that's not doing well, and so on and so forth, right? So yeah, CGC personally, yeah, no, we talked about the lines going up. Again, personally, I would play the this up here, right? I realize a lot of people are looking at me and saying, why would you ignore the move from $3 to $6? That's literally a 2x move, give or take, right? You can't use literally and give or take. I apologize, but yeah, to me, I think this is just a little bit rough, and I'd rather wait for it to break all five so we can fly. Given that this thing also knows how to lose all five and die, right? But there's some decent spacing between the moving averages. So, hey, if you have a little bit more tolerance, you can definitely play that route. But yeah, I'm just giving you my kind of conservative thoughts given what we see in the landscape right here, right? ACB is going to be the next one. I can't keep stressing how this one personally bothered me. It really did. This one just emphasized. Oh, I got a cat at the door. I'm sorry. What are you doing? Meow meow. You want to go? Sorry about that. So this really had good earnings. All right, it really did, and we were just talking about where is it? There's been a lot of convos since we talked. Sorry. Oh, we're probably up here at Texas. That's why. Kava this morning. So, nope, nope. Oh, I can't find it. Regardless, there are oftentimes stocks and moments where earnings are great and you see the wrong reaction. In my opinion, that's this right here. This was good earnings from ACB. I'm not pretending it wasn't, right? But our opinions, our simple human opinions don't matter. It's the market reaction, right? And yeah, we couldn't go, and then the Florida results kind of followed, right? And this, I mean, this looks exactly like Tilray. Except that this is at least a little bit higher. But yeah, unfortunately I have to think that this is ready to lose $1 and come down to 340, right? Maybe there's some good support right here around 4, but I just don't know. I don't see it. No, I don't. Again, 24 is really low. 24 should turn around. Trust me, I know it. I see it living here in the like 50s actually, right? Like I see it. I think this is going to keep going down, and I actually don't even have to zoom out. I guess that's 2024. Here, this is 20. This is within the year. RSI was at 14. RSI was at 10. I think this can go a little lower. Again, does it deserve it and all that sort of stuff? No, but like that doesn't matter. We're not here to say deserve or not, right? We're here to follow the lines. And go. No, let me do sandal at the end because I think I want to do high tide and sandal at the end. MSOS, again, look, this is battling that same death line, right? This tried to get up. I think this was the Chris Christie reaction that probably caught my eye the most. I, in fact, believe I remember saying a comment that MSOS did better the day after and Tilray did not. Yeah, exactly, because it only had one green candle in it. So, again, I bought into the Chris Christie thing. I thought he knew some stuff and all that sort of things, right? And really, Bitcoin did pretty well since that little tweet too. But also that had the technicals and stuff, and that's not what this video is about, right? But yeah, MSOS, you're battling the death line. It seems like the next place is probably going to be 440. If we lose 440, it's going to go down pretty quickly and pretty fast. For me, losing 490 matters way more. And if you're down here already at the 440s, you've confirmed, right? So it's all about holding 490. We saw Tilray didn't even come close to holding it, right? It kind of went, right? MSOS is doing a little bit better with it, right? It's at least oscillating over the line just a little bit better. But yeah, the 8 moving average is also in control in a lot of ways, right? There is one that got over it. Hey, Tilray couldn't do that, obviously, right? So there's some positivity there, but man, I think I'm just gonna follow the sector and go from there, right? So I'll group these together, and then real quickly, it looked like High Tide and SNDL were a little bit of the outliers. I think I'm gonna like High Tide just a little bit more, but it really, really is all hinging on our golden line right here, all right? So real quick, if you can subscribe, if you can share, it does good things for these algorithms here. So look, I've been talking about that line for such a long time, and I would say 98 out of 100 videos I make, I always say, look, I respect these 5 lines way more than my little manual ones. All right, I'm just some dude clicking. These are some supercomputer doing supercomputer decimal things that I'm too dumb for, right? So That said, when I draw a good line and I can tell it's a good line, I feel it and I go with it, right? Sorry, I zoomed out too quickly. We went with a year and a half of not even touching it, and then most of the rest of the year just battling it and falling under, right? So when you have that hard of a resistance, what needs to happen is you need to use that line as a support to bounce. You need to turn the resistance into a support. So far, we're doing it. The good thing is the 50 moving average is catching up to it. Obviously, I'm going to respect the 50 moving average a lot. This is a good, strong computer generated line, right? So you add that line to this line. Again, I don't know the math, but it looks like it's still going up. It's not going as rapidly, right? But it's going up still. So I think there's some good strength brewing here, all right? I would hate to lose it. Okay, I would hate to lose it. I do think this is strong right here. I do think 220 will be very, very hard to lose. What happens though is I now have to add a little bit of caution because I'm not guaranteed that 220 will bounce me back over the golden line, right? This is our best and first attempt at regaining it. You don't always do it on the first one, all right? And I don't know just yet. Look, our MACD is holding positive still. All right, red is obviously over green. Don't get me wrong. And hey, we've kind of been here before, but it looks like it's trying again. It's still a little early. This was a good important candle. I'm glad that we didn't lose this. This is a good line. We've wicked. We, truth be told, haven't even like touched it yet, right? So watch this line. We gotta turn it in. Otherwise, okay, I imagine we come to 220 and then it truly is a brand new retest. It really, really is. All right. So high tide does look better than the rest. I think that's a decent thing that to feel comfortable saying. Look, again, I think the weekly echoes a lot of stuff. It does. Look, the 20 moving average is basically at 225. I was just talking about 220. So I do think that 220 would be strong. Um, but yeah, if we can't hold this, I think it's going to be a quick drop down to that. I do. So watch 254 like a hawk. Let's see if we can turn that crazy hard resistance into a very, very big support that basically would probably bounce us over the $3 range. All right. So that's what we're looking for on the daily. That's what we're looking for on the weekly, right? The other one was SNDL, and it's interesting because from what a lot of the viewer comments were saying, SNDL had a really big footprint in Florida. Okay, um, I don't know if Florida not becoming recreational is actually a good thing for this company. And again, let me know if I'm wrong about the SNDL footprint, but if the vote was yes, all of a sudden there's brand new recs that are available and issued, and all of a sudden there's a whole mess of new companies that are going to start coming into the market and try to take their lunch, right? So it actually might be a decent thing that Florida said no. They can maintain the same market that they've been in for a while and at least, just battle the same people, right? I think that story is kind of here. All right. I think that's why we're able to hold the 200 moving average just a little bit more. There's a lot of distance between there and here, right? But I believe that's our death line down there, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it is, right? I can even just draw it off the weekly, if I'm not mistaken. That's pretty much our death line right here. So this one, again, I'm only drawing it to have it. Oh, no, too dark. Sorry. I'm only drawing it to have it, but that's a scary channel right there for sure. I think there's an easy. Oh, but that's where I'm moving. I got to go to the daily at this point. Sorry. Oh, there's not a lot of space to draw another good line. Maybe that. I think it's that. I think it's that. Yeah. Okay. I think if we lose $2, which is basically the 200 moving average, we're going to come down to 175. If we lose 175, it will be a very fast fall to the death line down there. So, again, though, let me know your thoughts on that SNDL thing. You know, I'm not here pretending to know fundamentals very well, but to some people, maybe a no vote was actually a good thing. I think to some people, I obviously mean like some companies in the sector. I think as a sector whole, the no just shook it more than it wanted to, and no was the Florida vote, right? So let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions, even if you disagree. Oh, I appreciate you so much.